Yo, welcome back to Hellhound's Late Night Spook Show here on the Horror, Metal, and Comics channel. I'm Hellhound, and I just did my top 10 DC Supervillains video, and figured I'd go and do my top 10 favorite Marvel supervillains. Yeah, a while back I did my top 10 favorite Marvel superheroes. That was like 4 years ago. I need to update that list. I'm going to go do that right now. So the updated list is from top to bottom. Top 10 Marvel heroes: Spider-Man, the Hulk, Wolverine, Thor, Human Torch, Iron Man, Captain America, The Thing, Iceman, and Silver Surfer. Now, I only included 2 X-Men characters because otherwise the X-Men would dominate the list. There'd be like at least 6 or 7 on there. And for this list of the villains, I'm going to try to include 1 villain per hero for variety's sake, because otherwise the list would be dominated by Spider-Man and X-Men villains. Those will probably get their own list someday. So anyway, yeah, like one villain per hero character. So even though a lot of them overlap too, of course, you know. So let's go and get started. All right, number 10 is going to be Sabertooth, Wolverine's arch rival, even though sometimes they're friends. Yeah. Sabertooth. You know, he's an enemy of the X-Men as a whole too, but you know, at his core, he's mostly a Wolverine antagonist. Yeah, very cool character. He has a lot of the same powers as Wolverine. You know, he's strong, he's agile, he has super senses, he's got claws, he's got sharp teeth. Somewhat of a healing ability, though. You know, I think Wolverine's regenerative powers is probably a little greater, but yeah. Sabertooth, pretty cool character. He was played by Tyler Mane in the first X-Men movie, and he was played by Liev Schreiber in X-Men Origins. Both of them did a good job, though Origins was not a good movie. Yeah, Sabertooth's a cool character. Anyway, number 9 is going to be Galactus, who's primarily a villain of the Silver Surfer. Yeah, he's a very, very powerful foe. One of the most powerful characters in Marvel. You know, he's the destroyer of worlds, the eater of galaxies. You know, he's not really just like a tyrannical despot who wants to take over. He actually feeds off the energies of different planets and stuff. But yes, so yeah, Galactus is definitely a deadly force to be reckoned with. So yeah, a lot different from Victor Creed, aka Sabertooth. So yeah, trying to have a very diverse list. So yeah, Galactus. All right, next we have Thanos. You know, wielding his Infinity Gauntlet. Yeah, he's responsible for, you know, half of the universe disappearing, mostly because he wants to impress Mistress Death. And Josh Brolin did a very good job, I thought, in the Avengers movies, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, playing Thanos. Yeah, very interesting character. There's a lot of dimensions and layers to his character as well. He's not just evil for the sake of evil. You know, he actually believes that he's, you know, kind of doing some good, you know. Yeah, but he's still a tyrannical ruler. Yep, Thanos. All right, next is the Red Skull, Captain America's arch villain. Yeah. Johann Schmidt, is that his real name? Something like that. Yeah, he's a Nazi. He's the leader of Hydra, who's, you know, basically Shield's enemy, the terrorist group. He's a very, very, very evil man. Yeah, he's put Captain America through hell. Yeah. Red Skull, very interesting villain. He was done pretty good, played pretty well by Hugo Weaving in Captain America: The First Avenger. All right, next we have Loki, Thor's main villain and adoptive brother, the god of mischief, who's played very well by Tom Hiddleston in the MCU. Yeah, he's Odin's adoptive son. And yeah, he's been a very, very deadly force to be reckoned with over the years. And he has some anti-heroic tendencies as well, but he's mostly in it for personal gain. Yeah, he's very selfish and does it all for himself. And has put his adoptive brother in a lot of peril. Yeah, Loki. Very, very, very interesting villain. Next we have the Mandarin, Iron Man's arch nemesis. Sometimes he's known as Gene Khan, but yeah, he's got 10 powerful rings. Each grant him a different superpower. Very interesting. They screwed it up, not once, but twice in the MCU. I would love to see a properly done live-action Mandarin, but at this point, I guess it's not going to happen anytime soon. But yeah, he's one of Iron Man's deadliest enemies, for sure. And I think he's by far the most interesting out of all of Iron Man's rogue galleries. Yeah, the 10 rings of the Mandarin. Very cool antagonist. All right, next we have the leader, Samuel Stearns, the Hulk's arch nemesis, who was formerly just an ordinary janitor, just a custodian who was exposed to gamma radiation, much like the Hulk, and became super intelligent with a large, expanded cranium. He's just a criminal mastermind, an evil genius. His cunning and intellect knows no bounds. He's just probably one of the smartest characters in the Marvel Universe. And I'm really looking forward to seeing him played by Tim Blake Nelson, who's reprising his role from the Incredible Hulk from 2008. He's going to be the main villain of the new Captain America movie, Captain America Brave New World, where the Falcon has taken over the Captain America mantle. I really want to see him fight the Hulk, though. I hope the Hulk's in it, too, because the Hulk needs to fight the leader in live action. I mean, come on, that's his villain. But yeah, the leader, Samuel Stearns. Very interesting villain. Evil genius. Alright, next we have Magneto, who's primarily an antagonist of the X-Men. He's been an anti-hero over the years, too, and I've kind of sided with him a few times. I kind of understand what he's went through. He was in the Holocaust, during those days, and, they were trying to the genocide, those people, and of course the mutants, they were, they hated mutants, and it's all an allegory for, racism and bigotry. It's done in a very interesting way, and yeah, so he hates humans. He wants mutants to reign supreme, and he's been an anti-hero a lot of times. He even teams up with Charles Xavier, Professor X, who is his former best friend and later his rival, but then sometimes they come together and join forces and form an alliance, and very, very interesting stuff. And of course he's got the power to manipulate magnetic fields and control and manipulate metal, telekinetically. He can move anything that's made of metal or tin or titanium or iron or anything. Even Wolverine's adamantium skeleton that he's actually ripped out of his body before. He's very, very powerful, a mega level mutant. And he's a deadly enemy, but sometimes a very worthy ally to the X-Men, which makes him so interesting. Yeah, Eric Lyncher, or Magnus, or Magneto. Yeah, great, great character. Very fleshed out, very layered, very interesting. All right, now number 2 is Dr. Doom, who's mainly the Fantastic Four's arch nemesis. Victor Von Doom. He doesn't have any superpowers, but like the leader, he's super intelligent. He's a genius-level intellect scientist, a mastermind who's invented all kinds of incredible gadgets, including time machine, teleporters, shrink rays, robotic henchmen, force fields, everything. He just, like the leader, he just throws everything at Reed Richards and his 3 allies. Yeah, Victor Von Doom's a very deadly opponent to in the Marvel Universe, but he's been kind of a hero too every once in a while, kind of an anti-hero. He could be a tyrannical ruler, but then he could also want to set the human race free. Like, he's done some very heroic things over the years, but a lot of villainous things too to balance them out. Yeah, Dr. Doom, very interesting character. And like I said, just one villain per hero. Otherwise, it'd be way too many Spider-Man and X-Men villains. So there's going to be one Spider-Man villain, and of course, that's got to be the Green Goblin. I also love Doc Ock and Venom and Hobgoblin, Carnage, Sandman, the Lizard, Electro, like the Vulture. There's so many great Spider-Man villains, Kraven the Hunter, but the Green Goblin's got to be number 1 because he was his arch antagonist, and he killed Gwen Stacy, which was one of the most famous and most interesting storylines in the Amazing Spider-Man series. Yeah, this issue right here, issue 39, is where the Green Goblin has first discovered that Spider-Man is Peter Parker, and then at the very end reveals that he's actually Norman Osborn, the corrupt CEO businessman of Oscorp and the father of Peter Parker's best friend, Harry Osborn. So yeah, very interesting rivalry they have there. Yeah, and then of course he eventually killed Gwen Stacy and then died himself when he was accidentally impaled by his glider. But then he comes back and he's sometimes an anti-hero too. Yeah, a lot of these villains have. I guess they kind of had to do something different with him after being around for 50 years or whatever. But yeah, the Green Goblin, one of Spidey's deadliest foes. He's got super strength and agility. He's got all kinds of deadly gadgets and weapons. His glider, his pumpkin bombs, his little boomerang bat slicers. He's got all kinds of deadly gadgets in his arsenal at his disposal. But yeah, Norman Osborn, aka Green Goblin. And that guys has also been taken up by Harriet Osborn and Bart Hamilton, among others. But my favorite's the original, Norman Osborn. And he was played excellently by Willem Dafoe in the Sam Raimi Spider-Man trilogy, who reprised his role in Spider-Man No Way Home in the MCU, where he also did a really good job. I just wish they'd have a live-action Green Goblin that looked a lot more like the comic, because I think that design could work in live action if done well, if executed properly. But anyway, he's my favorite Marvel supervillain. All right, guys, those are my 10 favorite Marvel villains. Feel free to leave your choices in the comments below. If I think of any honorable mentions, I will list them in the description. As always, thank you for watching my Late Night Spook Show here on the Horror, Metal, and Comics channel. I'm Hellhound. Until next time, later.